I love evangelism.
Okay.
Sometimes it is really hard. I've said this before, but people don't believe it, but I'm actually a lot more introverted than people think. So trying to start conversations with people is really cringy to me. But but once you get past that initial cringe, like I'm like, oh, and we're off, you know?
Right.
So I like to go to Pride festivals. I'll go to college campuses to talk to people, to start a conversation around the Bible. So, for example, when I go to Pride festivals, I'm very interested in talking to people who are representing the LGBTQ affirming churches that are there, because I want to discuss why they believe what they believe.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to King's Cross Talk, a podcast that we want to use just to encourage and help build up the body here at King's Cross. We want to help folks delight in God and disciple one another, declare the good news of the gospel, and display good deeds that commend the good news. We hope it's also beneficial to other people besides just the members of King's Cross. Today, very excited to have a special guest, a myth, a legend, an incredible member of King's Cross. Almost soon to be, Lord willing, Dr. Cammy Hodge, aka Cammy. Cammy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you on finally. There's a number of things. So one of the things we want to do over a couple probably episodes here is talk about some specific things as we're preaching through the book of Romans, and wanted to tie in both your story personally and then even think about some of your expertise, and we'll get to hear some of that.
Okay.
But would love to start first by just helping the people get to know you. So tell us how long you've been at King's Cross? How long you been a member?
Since November 2020.
Stop it. I didn't realize it had been. It's 5 years.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
2020. Nobody wants to remember 2020 specifically. But that's a highlight that you came to King's Cross in 2020. So tell us a little bit, where'd you grow up, a little about your family background, and even how you came to faith.
Yeah, so we moved around a lot.
Okay.
But I was in Greensboro for high school and undergrad, middle school, high school, and undergrad. I came to faith actually in undergrad. I didn't grow up in a Christian household.
Okay.
So I came in contact with some people who were Christian, who were part of a Christian organization at UNCG. And I was not living a godly lifestyle.
Okay.
So I actually came to Christ in my room one night after a bad experience with a friend of mine. And I was like, Lord, I got to a point where I realized that I did not have control or should not have control over my life. Like I needed something greater. And so there in my room at night, in my pillow, I was like, I've been living wrong. I need to be saved. So tell me a little bit about just your exposure to the gospel. So you mentioned some friends and folks that you met. Where'd you hear the gospel kind of first, and your exposure to Christ? Even though I didn't grow up in a Christian home, I had heard the gospel before. Like I was familiar with Christianity, but I was exposed to different beliefs. Okay. My parents were very adamant about us not being brainwashed a certain way.
Okay.
So we were exposed to different things. So, but when I got to college, I had a friend in particular who, to me, she was just always light. I don't know how to explain that. Like she just had a glow about her. She was a great friend. She was loving, but she also gave me the word and didn't compromise it. And I could really relate to her. And so I wanted to be like her, honestly. And then like some of the other people that I met. Yeah.
And what organization was this with?
YTC. It was called Youth Taking Charge.
And at what school?
UNCG.
Okay, UNC Greensboro. And did you graduate from there?
Yes, and that is my alma mater. I have a bachelor's degree there in global affairs and international development, and then I did a double minor in French and Spanish.
Okay, all right. So can you speak French and Spanish at all, or no?
Yes.
You can. Excellent. Should I put you on the spot, make you do it on this podcast?
You can.
Why don't you, in French?
Oh, okay. Now French.
No, so you spoke too soon. You got Spanish, but not French.
No, so French, I don't get to speak it that much because people don't don't speak it, but like I can understand it fairly well still. But like I can say little things like "Je m'appelle Cammy," you know, like that's my name's Cammy.
Okay, I don't even know. Like I don't know French, but I picked it up. Excellent. Yeah. Okay.
So in Spanish, of course. Yeah.
Why don't you tell me what you did today in Spanish? Tell me what'd you do today in Spanish? Quickly, come on, just give me. You said you know it like that.
Yo fui a la escuela. Yo soy maestra. Yo fui a mi casa. Yo cambio mi ropa. Right. I don't know. I said I went to school. I'm a teacher. I went home. I changed clothes. I don't know.
Excellent. All right, that's enough. That's good. That's better. That's better than me. Mi casa, su casa. That's better than what I have. No. Funny. So you love to be a student. I know you love to learn and love to grow. So tell us. I know you've done some more studies than just your undergrad. So tell us a little bit about the last. Kind of the years since, and what even this hunger to learn and grow, where did some of that come from?
Yeah, so people pick on me because they're like, Cam, you have 50 billion degrees. And honestly, you know, I mean, I became a Bible-believing Christian, and it changed the course of my life. I mean, so I originally went to UNCG, study global affairs and these languages because I wanted to work as an ambassador for the UN or work as some kind of civil servant representing the government, maybe overseas or something like that, representing U.S. policy. Right. And so, but the Lord was like, no, I want you to represent
a different government, a different kingdom.
A different kingdom, okay? And so so I went and got a master's of public administration because that was my goal. Okay. But then I was exposed to apologetics. Okay. Didn't realize that was what I was already doing. Okay. And so I was like, oh man. So I went and got an MDiv from Liberty in Christian apologetics. Okay. And I was like, okay, I feel the Lord's leading in this. And so I was like, you know, I want to teach with this, but then I was like, okay. So
you worked through your Hebrew and Greek there as well?
Yes. Hebrew made me cry. Greek was a lot easier. But Hebrew made me cry. That's an animal. It was tough. It was tough. An animal, and I yeah.
It made you cry.
It made me cry. I would care not to see it again, but of course I still have to use it.
Amen.
But
that's awesome.
So I got my MDiv from Liberty in Christian apologetics. And then I wanted to go all the way through and get my PhD because I wanted to do more writing, more research, especially in the area of sexuality because it's such a big thing now. Okay. And so for my MDiv, so I got my MDiv, and then the school that I wanted to go to get my PhD required a master's thesis, but with my MDiv, I didn't have to write one. Okay. So I had to enter their Masters of Theology and Ethics program and do a thesis project with them, which was really difficult. Okay. I thought I wasn't going to make it through, but I did. Okay. And I did my thesis on a book by Matthew Vines called The Biblical Case for Same-Sex Relationships. Okay. Where he argues that the Bible supports same-sex relationships. And so I did my thesis refuting that. Okay. And then after I did that, I was able to enter the PhD program. So now I'm doing my PhD of Theology and Ethics at Northwestern University in South Africa. Okay. And my dissertation is centered around this book called The Transgender Experience. Okay. And the author argues that the Bible supports transgenderism and gender variance. Okay. So the idea that the Bible supports there's more than just male and female. Okay. And that it's biblically supported to transition and all of that. And
so you're currently working on a refutation for that as your...
Yes. If everything goes well, Lord willing, by this time next year, I'll be done. Okay. Praise God.
Absolutely. I know you've been grinding and ready for it to be ready for it to be done.
Yeah.
So tell us, what again, you talked about just your interest in getting into sexuality and figuring out how to argue that from Scripture. So talk to us about just how that interest come about for you specifically. Sure. What has driven kind of some of your research and work in that category?
Well, the primary reason is I struggled with my sexuality. I don't hide that. That's why I'm in ministry. Okay. I'm just so grateful to Jesus for how he's just brought me through all of that. And it's still bringing me through and allowing me to share. I came out to my dad when I was 12, 13 years old. Okay. We were and I knew before then that I was attracted to women. I just didn't know how to expose it.
Sure.
So we were in the car. I mean, I remember this like it was yesterday. We were in the car and my dad is driving. It's just me and him. And I said, Dad, it was really quiet. And I said, Dad, I said, I think I'm gay. And he's driving. And he said, he just kind of just, looked while he's, driving. And he said, you don't know what you're talking about. And I said, no. And I was serious. I said, no, I think I'm gay. And he said that I needed to be sure about that because that would have huge implications for my life. And that was it. And I did think about that, but I was very sure. But when I look back on it, I was in the world's terms bisexual. So I hadn't lost complete attraction towards men, but I was very much attracted to females. Okay. And so I dated a young woman as a teenager. And so going through that, high school, college, I was same-sex attracted. And when I became a Christian in undergrad, that's really what started to shift my perspective. I didn't pray the gay away, like people say. Okay. Of course, there were times where I was like, nah, I wish, I didn't have this affection. But what happened for me was I remember I was laying in my room. It was a Saturday morning. The sky was gray. I was looking up at the ceiling. It was early in the morning and I was laying there just thinking. And all of a sudden it just came to me I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not attracted to women like I used to be. Really, that's what it was. And I realized that I wasn't experiencing the attraction like I had been before. And when I realized that over time, my attraction was just fading. It's not deep. That's just what was happening. Right. And so I think that just came from God's grace. Just going through sanctification. Yep. I know everybody doesn't have that experience. Doesn't mean God's grace is any less powerful in your life. This is just my story. This is what happened with me. And so, but my experience dealing with same-sex attraction in the church is what prompted me in many ways to go into this kind of ministry. I know what it's like to be on one side of the coin and hear some very awful preaching. I remember I've been told, you're going to hell and different things like that or you should dress like this, you should talk like this, you should be like this without any kind of, I guess, godly discipleship and balanced preaching. So, you tell me I'm going to hell, but like what else?
How can I go to heaven?
Yes. Like what, right. Where's the hope, Sure. But then I know what it's like to be on the other side of the coin where you're giving someone hard truth. The truth is not always pleasant. It's going to hurt. Right. It hurts. Right. But realizing that, no, this is love. Right. And so I just want to be another voice, another drop in the sea of voices that says, hey, look, yes, this is sin. But God has given you a way out, just like he's given all of us. There's so much love and grace and compassion for you that this you don't have to be like this. You don't have to stay like this. And God has already taken your struggle into account. The gospel is bigger than that. So,
Amen. So and we'll talk more about this in just a bit. But in this work, so tell us a little bit about what your ministry looks like now. So some of what you're doing and even your desire. How are you combining kind of this desire and passion for apologetics generally, but then specifically talking about sexuality? What does Cammy's ministry and life look like today, and how are you using this to be light in a dark world?
So life is lifing.
It is lifing.
So just like with personal ministry. So I love evangelism. Okay. Sometimes it is really hard. I've said this before, but people don't believe it, but I'm actually a lot more introverted than people think. So trying to start conversations with people is really cringy to me. But but once you get past that initial cringe, like I'm like, oh, and we're off, you know? Right. So I like to go to Pride festivals. I'll go to college campuses to talk to people, to start a conversation around the Bible. So, for example, when I go to Pride festivals, I I'm very interested in talking to people who are representing the LGBTQ affirming churches that are there, because I want to discuss why they believe what they believe. And I video so that other people can hear these conversations, because it's one thing to hear. A lot of people don't understand the depth of these beliefs and what they lead to. And really how futile they are. And so you hear, oh, God is love, but you don't understand the spiritual and scriptural implications that are under that statement that they follow. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why I do that. And then I like to talk to people. I go to college campuses, starting to do the same thing like that, passing out Bibles, trying to start conversations with people. So if folks want to track or follow along with some of that, where can they maybe watch some of those videos? Give us a little commercial for how folks can keep up with you. Not just giggles. Go ahead and answer the question. Tell us where to watch videos. They can. I'm on Instagram. You can just at The Ordinary Apologist. I'm on YouTube, The Ordinary Apologist.
Excellent.
Yep.
And one of the things I've been encouraged by is even recently, a couple of different conversations in our community group. You and I are in the same community group together, my family, and then a ton of people. There's so many people in this group. Jonathan calls it the King's Cross Third Service. But anyway, in that group, some of the sisters just saying, "Hey, I want to learn how to share my faith, and because I've watched some of your videos, I want to learn how to navigate kind of conversations and scriptures." And again, that's why we even do videos like this. Lord, how do we use just what you're doing in our church and members in our church to equip and help folks? So tell us a little bit about just your desire for evangelism and why you love evangelism and why it means so much to you. And then you're saying, hey, I'm actually introverted. How do you press through some of that just in sharing your faith, whether it's about specifically an LGBT conversation or if it's just general sharing your faith. So tell us about why do you love evangelism and how do you press through some of those things when you're nervous?
I think I don't know, those kinds of conversations, the wrestling, I don't know. I told somebody once, it feels like a spiritual workout. It feels like my mind is working out. It feels like my spirit's working out. It's like I crave it. I just crave the conversation. And because I just really believe I have the truth. I just know I do, to me, it's just undeniable. And so I just want to have the conversation. That's really it. It's not because I feel like I'm smart. It's I just have the truth.
Yeah. It's funny. I've told people before, and just again, kind of my own subjective experience. And I certainly believe the gospel with all of my heart and life all the time. But I don't feel like I believe the gospel more than when I'm sharing it with a non-Christian. And I'm hearing kind of other worldviews and other hopes and other explanations for the brokenness of the world, other explanations for evil, that when we see people, evil people doing evil things, or just kind of the thinking about eternity. Like you hear other folks who don't know the gospel, who don't know Christ, articulate what they're banking their life on and their eternity on. And for me, there's a oh my goodness, like we really have the truth, and it really is infinitely greater than anything else. And in those moments, just feeling personally how encouraged and helped I feel by the Lord, by the Spirit in evangelism, just as a Christian. I'm like, oh my goodness, what we believe really is true. And when you compare it to the other things out there, it strengthens even that conviction experientially.
And so when I studying apologetics, doing a PhD program, having to do the work, having to study, having to read, you're like, whoa, no, I knew I had the truth before, but we really have the truth. When you study the history of the Bible and how it's translated, manuscript evidence, just philosophically, when you look at Christianity, even studying other religions, I've been studying a lot of Islam and starting to have conversations with Muslims. It's just, I'm like, whoa, this really is
for
real.
For real. This is true.
Real.
And it withstands the scrutiny.
It does.
And that is, to me, I'm always encouraged by that. So how do you press through? So when you the cringy, I got to try to start this conversation, and man, they may not like what I'm going to have to say. And what are some of the things just in your mind or in your prayer? Like what's happening kind of experientially for you in those
Lord.
moments?
No. Honestly, if I can just be really honest, I'm like, are you really going to punk out like this? No, really. I'm like, no, the Lord has brought you all the way here. Really? Just do it. Like, really.
Amen.
That's what it is. Like, I'm like, I don't want to go home and say that I chickened out. Really? I mean, that may be fleshy. I don't know. But no, I'm like, no, Cammy, do it.
Right.
Like, literally, what do you have to lose?
Yeah,
it's going to be embarrassing a little bit, and a little bit cringy. But, like, at least you'll be able to say no, like, no.
I love God. I love people, and I push through that awkwardness. And
it's tough though.
Yeah, it is. It is in those moments, and it's like, man, what if I don't say something right, or what if they ask me a question I can't answer?
Absolutely.
But then again, you get into it, and it's like, Lord, it was worth it.
Oh, and, absolutely.
I can't. I want to make sure I don't want to overspeak, but I'm like, I can't remember a time I've shared the gospel with someone and thought, that wasn't worth it. I shouldn't have done it.
Absolutely.
Like once you push through, and even if it went poorly in my estimation,
at least he did it.
Right. Absolutely. And the seed was sown. So So tell us a bit of what. So currently in your work and your hopes, and what do you want to do with some of this in the future? Finishing up this PhD. What are some of the things ministry, maybe aspirations? Any specific things that you're trusting the Lord to do?
Lecture, teach, train people. I've started this Apologetics meetup group, which I love doing stuff like this. I do it with my students too. I'm a teacher. Well, you know that. So.
No, tell it. They don't know that. Tell us. So I was going to ask you about after this.
So with my Apologetics meetup, I do. I work with them doing scenarios and really interactive things to help them to learn to have the conversations.
With what students though? Where do you teach? So tell us.
Okay. So I do that with my students, but I also do it with my Apologetics meetup group. Right, but as far as teaching, yes. So yes, I teach at Caldwell Academy. So I'm in the rhetoric school, which is the high school.
Okay.
And
what are you teaching there?
I teach speech and debate, public speaking, so Rhetoric 1 and Rhetoric 2. I also teach the U.S. World History course for 11th grade. Okay. And I teach Honors African American History as an elective. I alternate every year. And I also teach Christian Apologetics now.
Excellent.
As an honors elective. And so I absolutely love it. Like I want to, I'm not perfect, but what I do have, I want to be able to give.
Absolutely.
So I want to teach people how to have the conversation.
So tell us a bit about these personalities you can get into in some of these classes. What do you do to these students?
I love them.
Yeah. Okay. How do you love them?
So they like to call me Atheist Hodge.
Atheist Hodge.
Sometimes.
Okay.
So I'll do. I'll act like different kinds of people who have different worldviews, so that they can learn how to address them, or at least just be exposed to them. Yep. Because my goal is to show you that you don't have to have a PhD, but if you can just work your basic Christian fundamentals, if you can just open your mouth and speak and be confident, the Lord can use it. I just want you to be confident.
Awesome. So,
they like to debate me.
Yeah.
They don't win. But no, they're a joy. So I will act like, for example, as someone who has an atheistic worldview.
Okay.
And I'll ask them certain questions. So, how do you know God exists? Right. They'll say something, so what? And I'll say something else and go back and forth with them a little bit.
Right. That's awesome. That's great. That's great. Well, maybe as we kind of wrap up some of the personal part of the podcast, any fun facts about Cammy? Any fun hobbies? Any fun things just as that would be?
I love dogs. Okay. I love animals.
Okay.
But cats and dogs I really love.
Okay.
I have a dog. His name is Charlie. That's my pumpkin.
Everybody
knows that. Everybody knows I love Charlie. Let me see. I like walking. I like being outside. So hiking is really good. I do play the guitar. I haven't played in a while though.
Okay. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I used to have it in my classroom last year and I would play it. But let me see what else.
What are you reading right now? Anything for pleasure or only PhD work?
PhD work. Let me see. I'm reading a couple of things. You know how you have like a couple of books that you're kind of just rifling through. I was just actually reading. It's this book about what's the title? It's this book about how African Americans read Paul or interpreted Paul. You know what book I'm talking about?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know the title of it.
Oh, what's it called? It's called Readings in Paul or something like that. But anyway, I was just reading through that a couple of days ago.
Okay.
But yeah.
Excellent. Anything else?
Like interesting about me?
No, that you're reading just for pleasure.
Oh, pleasure.
Yeah. You don't have time for that.
But the stuff I'm reading, like I have to read, like is cool, but it's like also for it's like academic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite book of the Bible?
I would probably say maybe Psalms.
Okay.
And I like to read the Psalms because a lot of the stuff that I read is so not God honoring. Like when I have to go through the elder,
Right.
And so sometimes I just like to sit and read through the Psalms because it just like washes over you. It's just repetitive. Like, he's abounding in love and kindness, and it praises. There's so much praise about God, and it's so refreshing. After I've read some stuff that's just ridiculous, so that, and I would say probably 2 Corinthians.
Okay, why 2 Corinthians?
Because so when in my early stages of being a believer, 2 Corinthians chapter 5, around verse 17, maybe about 17 through 20, I read that all the time because it talks about becoming a new creature in Christ. The old is gone, the new has come. Paul says we now no longer regard someone from a human point of view.
Right.
And I found that so encouraging, and I still do. Like those are probably like my life verses right there.
I love it.
So
I love it. That's fantastic. Sports fan?
I don't watch.
You don't watch any sports?
I couldn't tell you about. I couldn't tell you. I don't.
Nothing?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you about nothing.
Cammy, nothing. That's crazy.
I'll go to a little cookout or a little
you'll
football.
come hang out with football party.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I know what a field goal is, and I know what a touchdown is.
That's what
I don't know first down.
We'll take it. That's fine.
I don't know.
We'll stay with the field goal and the touchdown. We'll take it. Let's take the win where we can get it. Excellent. Well, sis, thanks for being on talking personally. And and next episode, we hope to dive into some of Romans 1 and even some of these topics. So thank you so much.
Okay, absolutely.
Thanks for joining us in this episode. Tune in for the next one. It's going to be good. Grace and peace.